I definitely did not expect it, but this Nintendo Switch eShop sale is massive, so today I'm going to be breaking down 15 games that you should be checking out, covering the US, Canada, UK, EU and Australia. My name is Alex, this is SwitchCorner, and today we've got a whole host of games from indie gems to AAA heavy hitters. If you do grab anything, consider using cornershop.gg for discounted eShop credit. You'll get 5% off at checkout using code CORNER, and they are instant delivery via email. We also then have 2 winners to announce for 2 $10 eShop gift cards later in the video and 2 more to give away. To enter, drop a comment down below and the winners will be announced in next week's video. This sale also way too big for one video, so do watch out for a bonus episode on Monday. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 is our first pick. It's 60% off, matching the low. This is how you do a rebuild the right way. It takes all of the best elements, keeps the same great control scheme, but does some magic of course with those visuals. Looks and runs great on the Switch hardware, and I've been coming back to this one now ever since it launched. Throw in then as well a decent amount of the original skaters and tracks from the soundtrack, a few additions and adjustments of course, and yeah, I just do not think you can go wrong. I reviewed this one on the channel, find that in the pinned comments, and for the rest of this video, if I covered it, look for the note in the top left of the screen, because I'm definitely getting very bored of saying that so much. Hunter X I really liked. It's 30% off, matching the low. It's from the same team that made 3000 for Duel, and honestly you could argue it's been polished up in some minor ways, but it is essentially a reskin, and I wouldn't honestly argue. I do, however, like the combat here more. I do wish it had a bit more dedication to its story, because it's a unique world, but sadly it's really just relegated to a minor opening cutscene, and that is, we are a devil hunter out, I guess, hunting. Thankfully, the platforming and the combat makes up for the shortcomings there, and the bosses are particularly entertaining as they do fill the screen. If you enjoyed today's video, consider subscribing, helps a huge amount, and if you could hit the like button as well, that definitely seems to help the algorithm. If you didn't know already as well, we do have PlayStation Corner and Xbox Corner. Both of those are linked down below, and that is a variety of reviews, deals, VR2 content, Game Pass breakdowns, and graphical comparisons. White Day, a Labyrinth named school, gets a new low here with 20% off. I know it's not a massive discount, but it is a relatively new game, and it impressed me for the most part. Now at times, can be a little over-reliant on the same jump scares, but an empty school is always a creepy location, and you'll be fending off demons, ghosts, and a pair of particularly nasty janitors. It's first person, it's a game of running and not fighting back, but I really enjoyed the story. Basically, White Day is Valentine's Day, we went back to leave a card in someone's locker, now we are trapped with all sorts of weirdness occurring around us. Final Vendetta will be for the beat 'em up fans. This one definitely got mixed opinions at launch. I enjoyed it myself, but I know many, they didn't appreciate just how, old school it actually got. Namely, you can't continue the game if you do die, it's going to be all the way back to the beginning. I really like the combat mechanics though, and I'm a sucker for chunky pixel design, kinda gives me that Mega Drive era vibes. I do think it was too expensive at launch, and it's the same at ballpark as, TMNT and Streets of Rage, so this 50% off, it definitely helps a lot, and it is matching the low. I also didn't like one particular location that has insta-death moments, that is just cheap, definitely not fitting for the genre. Root Film is a mystery adventure game with a heavy dose of dialogue, and it's essentially a visual novel, but more freedom in controlling where you can go next and who you are talking to. I'm not a massive fan of the genre, honestly, but this one worked for me as we are working alongside a director who is rebooting an old show. The problem, the original production had murder and all sorts occurring, and we must now get to the bottom of everything that happened. It has horror themes, I would say, but I would definitely consider it to be more of a thriller. It's 65% off then, that is a new low price. Demon Slayer is for the 3D arena brawler fans. I like the genre a lot, this is probably my favourite in the genre on the Switch. It's one just anyone can jump into and play thanks to a simplistic control scheme, but it rewards you with these massive over-the-top attack animations. I'm also just a big fan of the anime, so that obviously goes a long way, and this takes us through Season 1 as well as the movie. The story mode then even has some locations to explore, which, yes, again, not a lot to them honestly, but as a fan it was definitely fun to see them all, in a game world. This one then 50% off, that's matching the low price, and I do think it is one of the better ports on the system as well, because visually I do think it is stunning. Persona 4 Arena Ultimax would be a good option then for those that want a 2D fighter with a more involved control scheme. Now, like most, this is a combo based system, it is easy to pick up, however this one it's going to be difficult to master. A huge amount of content too, of course it has arcade modes, quick fights, online play, but it's also packing all previously released content with a cast that is pulled from not only Persona 4 but 3 as well. The only warning here, the story mode, it's actually an in-depth visual novel with multiple options, and without knowledge of P4 it's going to be real tough to follow. I'd say the same as well, probably need to play P3 for some of the content. It's a new low then, 50% off, and both this and Demon Slayer, they featured on my top fighters list, which I've gone ahead and put in the pinned comment down below alongside all of today's reviews. Persona 5 Strikers was a fantastic spin-off from Koei Tecmo, think warrior style gameplay, 1 versus 1000 enemies, but in the Persona universe, and it does a great job of capturing the same magic. The main reason I say is because it's not shy of the dialogue heavy design that Persona is now known for, and rather than just non-stop action, it instead lets you actually explore locations and dungeons. Then should you connect with an enemy, it transitions to what is an arena fight. It's overall just a fun continuation for the Persona 5 cast that finds us heading out on a summer vacation while of course tackling a new crisis. It's 60% off then, and that is matching the low price. Persona 5 Royal 30% off, that's matching the low, and this is the best entry out of the 3 on sale in my opinion. It's a mainline entry, and it's one of the best RPGs ever made. Just so happens it got a fantastic port as well, given the fact, it's well over 100 hours of gameplay, and here it's running so smoothly. You'll see no arguments basically from me. I think it looks stunning as well, even if the resolution of course takes a pretty big hit. The gameplay, a mix of exploration, dungeon crawling, a whole lot of talking of course, but great cast throughout, and the story, we just transferred to a new school, and before we know it, we are in a mysterious dream location and we've become a phantom thief. Our job, save others from a distorted world. Tons of content here, and this royal build, it has new characters, missions, endings, and items. A masterpiece, and if you're curious to how I rank the Persona games available on the Switch, I've actually got my ranking video in the pinned comment below. Super Monkey Ball, a Banana Mania. If you want even more Persona in your life as well, I do know Morgana is a downloadable character should you want to part with some cash. This is another really well done rebuild, though it combines content from the first and second game, arguably the best entries, and even carries across a few of the multiplayer minigames. It's not all of them, but I just needed Monkey Fly. I was always an addict to that one, and it is featured here. The core experience, get through maze locations by tilting the world, but it gets a whole lot harder than you may imagine. I'm hoping to see a return to form after this release. I think they lost their way a bit, and this could be the game that finally steers them back. 55% off then, and that is a new low price. Our first winner of the week then, it's going to Undead Eggmeister, who was looking at Stranded Deep and Colat. I haven't played Stranded myself, heard it was pretty rough at launch, but hopefully since then it has been patched. Congrats Undead, drop me an email to claim your code, and everyone else, there's a second winner coming up here shortly in the video. Blossom Tales 2, the Minotaur Prince then will be for the action RPG fans out there. It's top down, a clear love letter to old school Zelda. I really enjoyed this one. Like the first game, we are listening to a story told by our grandfather, and as kids we put ourselves in the lead positions. Now in this one we're basically out to save our brother who was, let's say, been kidnapped. The gameplay is not breaking any new ground honestly, but it is fun enough combat. There's some entertaining boss encounters and also some great environmental puzzles as well. It's 25% off then, that is matching the low price. Neon White was one of my favourite games of 2022, a first-person parkour action game. The idea really is simple, get through levels as quickly as possible while taking out enemies along the way with a slew of different abilities, but what makes it so unique, it's actually the world and the weapon system. First off, we are dead on our way to hell. When we are pulled to heaven, they have a demon problem, and if we do help, we can basically stay. Then the guns, it's a card system with limited use that you do pick up, but they have these, I guess, alternate abilities. Think a shotgun. You can take 3 shots or you can discard it for a dash. It sounds like it would be awkward, but it's incredibly intuitive, and if you want more of this world and story, I really like the fact there is a map where you can go ahead and talk to different characters. It's 20% off then, and matching the low, and in my opinion, like many of the games on today's video, this is a must-buy release. 13 Sentinels probably was my favourite game of 2022, then I gave this a 10 out of 10 as a hint towards what you can expect in my review. It's a unique blend of exploration and tactical combat. The combat, you're piloting mechs, you're going to war, has this unique wire-looking top-down design, and it is also extremely easy, so I wouldn't necessarily come here for that, even if the squad setup is good fun. It is the story where it wins, a great art style, it's 2D with multiple locations, and it weaves this tale of different points in time and a future war. Watch a full review with this one, you really need to go in depth to break it all down, but I do think again it is an incredible game, and it's 40% off, matching the low price. Alavo is our second winner then, who wishes for more time for more games. Pretty confident in saying pretty much everyone in this community feels that exact same way. Congrats though, drop me an email for the code, and everyone else, drop a comment down below for your chance in next week's video. NieR Automata then is the only game I didn't review on today's list, but I will get to it eventually. Incredible game if you have any doubt, and this port, it got so much praise, and I do have to agree, it is incredible, it looks good, runs good, and the game itself has just stood the test of time. It is one of the most unique action RPGs out there, with complex story, fun combat, and it often mixes up the gameplay and the perspective, which keeps things feeling fresh. Bosses are a particular highlight, as well as they often have these bullet hell-like abilities. When you do hit the credits with this one though, just know the game is just getting started. That is far from the end. It's 25% off then, a new low price. Portal Companion Collection then gets a new low price, 40% off, and here is another great port of a well-loved game that definitely deserved this collection. It's got some of the best writing out there as we go up against an AI that is out of control. The first game's definitely short, the second expands things, but both are incredible. Stephen Merchant lending his voice work for the second game is a particular highlight, but all of the cast here are absolutely incredible. The gameplay then, a first-person puzzle experience that throws you into what I'd call like a challenge room, I guess, and you use the portal gun to create different effects. It's basically physics puzzles for the most part, but definitely gets challenging. I reviewed these, but I do want to point out I covered them in 2 separate videos, as both of them deserve love rather than talking about them together. And that's the video down. Will you be adding anything to the library? Let me know in the comments. Watch out then for a bonus video from me on this same sale come Monday. And also check out my last 2 videos on under $10 deals and under $5 deals. All of those are still alive, and they are both in the pinned comment below. A shout out then to the patrons of the channel who are going above and beyond to support SwitchCorner. It helps more than you know, so thank you all so much. Then hit subscribe, join us here for reviews, deals and lists daily, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.